Hello everyone and welcome to CarNamics. Today we're going to be working on Matthew's car here. Matthew, what do you have here?
I have a 2017 Ford Fiesta ST and we're going to be installing two BILSTEIN front shocks on the car.
Awesome. Let's get to it. We're going to start off by taking both front wheels off. We're going to replace these in pairs, as you should when you put shocks on. So because this is the same process on both sides, we're just going to show you the driver's side. It's going to be the exact same thing over there, except it's going to be reversed. But I think you can figure it out. All right, so we're gonna start off down here by taking these two bolts off. We're gonna take these two nuts out, and then these two bolts will slide out this way. You're gonna remove your ABS wire, and you're gonna take off your bracket for the brake line. So we're gonna go ahead and start off by taking off these two first. Okay, get that out of the way. And you're gonna hold the bolt back here with your wrench. So this is going to be a 15 on this side and an 18 millimeter on this side, and this bolt here is a 10 millimeter. Okay. I'll leave that in there so I'm going to take the bottom one out. Before we take these two bolts all the way out, I'm going to go ahead and pop this 15 millimeter nut loose for the stabilizer link. This thing is probably going to try to spin in there, but let's see if it'll work. Yep. So when this thing spins on you and you try to take it loose, you have two options here. One, you can get an Allen wrench here and use a wrench and take it loose, but it takes a long time. You can also try to get back in here and grab it with some vice grips. Just be careful not to damage the boot here. Get a light here. You got this boot right here. You do not want to tear that. So you want to grab it on the very back side. There's a little edge there you can grab onto. We're going to take these and just going to go inside of here. Adjust them properly. Like I said, I'm grabbing on that little, you'll see when I take it off, what I'm grabbing onto. I can't really explain it without showing you. Okay. So what you're grabbing onto is this right here. You don't want to grab where the boot is. You want to grab on that little edge there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and pull these two out. There's one, and there's two. We're gonna pause right there. If this video is helpful, please give us a like, share with your friends, and subscribe if you want to see our new videos in the future. We have a lot of awesome stuff on our channel. Just go check it out. Let's get back to it. All right, so once you get those two out, you can just drop that down some and pull it to the side and you're free. Just make sure nothing is binding up. You want this to have some slack on it. On this side, we're gonna take the two nuts loose that hold this reservoir on. And we're going to set this aside so we can get to the three bolts that hold the shock in place. So for you guys doing the shock on this side, you should be able to take this bracket loose and get just enough room to get in there with a wrench if you have to, which it's not terribly hard to get to though. I'm going to be using this little flex head ratcheting box-ended wrench to get in here. Just get it loose so we can get our fingers in there. And I'm sure it would be easier if you took the whole cowl off the car. But we're going to try to save some time here and do it without doing that. Watch as my hand does magic and pulls the bolt off.
Wow.
The stud, or the nut.
I assume that's not going in the video.
Probably not. And now we're going to pull the other one off, obviously. And now the reservoir comes off. Watch this. Voila! Bungee cords are your friend. Do not damage this line though. So we're gonna hook that there, and I'm just gonna go over here to, that'll work. And just, like I said, don't put too much pressure on this line. You don't want to break that, but just get out of your way enough. There's my wrench. Where did I put my wrench? Oh, here it is. If you guys don't have these platinum wrenches, these are actually very helpful to have, especially on this job. I will put a link for you in the description if you'd like to purchase these. They are very handy to have. Okay, we're gonna go for the hardest one first because we want to get stuff done like that way. Oh wait, that's not gonna fit back in there. We're gonna go for the front two first. You see, normally I'm the guy that goes for the hardest one first, but you see, a man once told me, why would you go for the hardest one first? Because if Jesus comes back, he'll take that one off. So go for the easy one first. And you know what? That was one of the best things I've ever heard. As you see, the shock is dropping as we take this nut loose. But no worries, you don't need to hold it until you get the last nut loose. Now that's common sense. Now don't drop this when you take it loose now. Don't lose your nuts. Alright, so we got the back two off. We got this one left. So now it's not a bad idea to have somebody hold the shock, or you can reach out by yourself with one hand and hold it while you take the nut off with the other one. That's what I'm gonna do, but do as you please. If you got a buddy that's sitting there not doing anything anyways, and you want to put him to work, now is your chance. Because we don't want anybody being lazy these days, now do we? Alright. If you want to come around here, now that that's loose, we're going to just get that wire out of the way and simply pull it out. Okay, so here is our strut assembly. Now, if you have a Fiesta ST, we couldn't find a whole assembly with the spring as well. We had to just get the shock. If you have a non-ST, it shouldn't be a problem. I believe you can get the whole assemblies just fine. So with that being said, you have to take the spring loose from the shock. And I do not recommend you using those cheap ones from AutoZone or whatever. Those could kill you. You're better off taking these to a shop and having them swap out the spring for you onto the new shock. Now we have a professional spring compressor here, so I'll show you the process, but if you don't have a professional tool, please don't kill yourself, bring it to a shop, they're not gonna charge you that much to swap out the springs for you. All right, we're gonna go ahead and release the pressure off of this spring, so we can pull the nut loose on top. There we go, and now it's loose. Now this is the old shock. Do not do this on your new shock. Not good for it. But it's going in the trash anyway. And this comes off. This is your upper mount assembly. And then now, there goes the shock. Don't get your feet in the way there. Here's your boot. If it's not torn, you can reuse it. If it is torn, you might as well go put a new one on there. And here's your spring. We're gonna leave that in the compressor. We're just gonna slide the new shock in place. Just to give you an idea what a bad shock looks like, see, I push this thing down, and it's not even trying to come back up on its own. This thing, the new one, so that comes back up. Yeah, it's a good shock. One more thing I forgot to mention, you're gonna need to swap this device over to the new shock. And guys, always check your parts to make sure they match and they line up, especially if you get both sides. They're gonna be opposite. So for example, this is the other side, and you'll see here, we'll put them side by side here. See how they're mirrored? So make sure they line up properly before you put the spring on. We also got some extra parts with this. It should be an upper mount. We're gonna replace both of these, as well as some new boots. Now ours are not torn, but while we're in there, we're gonna go ahead and put some new boots on there as well. Instructions. Yeah, we don't need those. I think I'll keep my day job. If you guys want to buy these parts, we got the new boot here, and this new mount. I'll try to link those in the description for you, as well as the shocks. So how you put these together, you're gonna have like a little lip on the top here, and then I'll show you on the other one that's not put together yet. So here's what I was talking about with these new boots. You're gonna have this lip right here on the top, and this lip right here. You're gonna put the smaller side inside here, and this lip is gonna ride right on the inside of here. So you're gonna put it in there and just kind of work your way in there. Before you put this back up in there, you're gonna pull this rubber bushing off your old one, and you're gonna have little nipples that stick down. You're gonna push those through the holes. And it's gonna slide into place like that, and it should all line up. You're gonna press the new boot and bumper here down on top of the coil, or not coil. I'm at a loss for words right now.
So
you all know what it's called. It's called a shock. So this is what it's gonna look like. So you got your boot on there, your little bumper, bearing assembly, and this piece is gonna line up there. And that way, see how your nut can go on there? So your coil spring is gonna sit right inside of there. And make sure you got your little bumper there, or your little coil rubber boot for the bottom part. Now we can put it on. So we're going to slide this up in place, like so. Line up your ending part of your coil spring here with the end of the little rubber grommet thing there. This is gonna slide on top, and it looks like this doesn't really care which way it goes. Okay, you're gonna put your washer on first, and you gotta compress it down enough to get your nut started. Don't lose your nut. Looks like they gave us a 19mm. Go ahead and start tightening it down. Okay. And now I'm going to release the pressure. And there we have our new assembly with the spring on there. And a brand new boot. Look how pretty that is. I had a flashlight one time. Once upon a time, there was a flashlight. That flashlight ran away. Now, again, this is the time to grab your buddy if you want to put him to work. Otherwise, you can do this single-handedly. So if you get the whole strut assembly, like if you have a non-ST and you get the whole assembly, they'll normally send you 3 new nuts to go on top here, but they didn't give those to us, so we gotta use old ones. So sad. So that's why you don't want to lose your nuts. I see one peeping up. Okay. There we go. Go ahead and slide a nut on there. Tighten this back one up first, because if you don't, you tighten these two up first, it's going to put that nut up in the air, and it's going to be harder to get to. Whereas if you tighten this one first, it's going to stay closer to the body, and you have more room. Can you guys even guess? That's right. Tighten the other 2 nuts up too. Oh, you guys are so smart. Remember those nuts that you took off? Yeah, put this back on there now. This is a little tricky. Have patience. Gotta hold your tongue just right. This here is what gives me nightmares at night. Dropping this nut down into the never return land. Oh. Scary. Oh, we got it started. Alright, get this little sucker. He's trying to hide down in there, it's not there. I get you. Dumb nut. Alright, now that we have those 2 tightened down, we are done on top here. We can now move on to bigger and greater things under there. Now that we're back underneath the car here, we're gonna go ahead and line this up. So, wouldn't be a bad idea to go ahead and grab that lazy friend again. But it's doable with one person. All right, there we go. Let's see. And there's two. Whoops. And you can go ahead and start lining all this back up. Getting your hardware in place. Put your stabilizer link back in place. Like so. There we go. Whoops. Once you tighten it back down, it will straighten out. Put that on there. And we'll go ahead and get these two nuts started on here. And we got that put back on once we get these tightened down. Alright, so same as removal, you may need to either hold it with an Allen wrench or grab it with some vice grips on the back. I'm going to see if it'll tighten down with this gun. It probably won't, but yeah, got a little ways on there. Oops. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and slide this thing back in place. It just simply pushes on there like that. And at last, we're going to tighten down our brake line bracket. And the new shock is in place. So all we have left now is to simply put this front tire back on and you are ready to go. Alright guys, it is that simple to put some new shocks on your Fiesta ST. Again, this should also apply to the non-ST vehicles. It's just, you should be able to get the whole assembly instead of just the shock. So yeah, you got anything to add to that?
Nope.
Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon so you know when we post our new videos in the future. We're gonna have some really awesome stuff coming out, including the full exhaust system that's going on this car. It's gonna sound awesome, isn't it?
Yep.
Absolutely. And be sure to like if it was helpful. I hope it was. You should like it, because you did. And our humor was awesome, that was. Thank you.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. We'll catch y'all later.